What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bold Voices. I'm Angela Bel Camino. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for being here. You are in for a treat. I can already tell this show is going to be so much fun. We've got great guests. We've got great topics. We obviously have a great audience. So thank you guys so much for being here. We love chatting with you. We love interacting with you. So please chat it up with us in the comments. Put your comments, questions, feedback, all that jazz. Please repost, share the stream. We would really appreciate it. Like it and subscribe on YouTube. Guys, thank you so much for joining Bold Voices. We love the Bold Voices. I feel like I sound like Trump right now. We love the Bold Voices, and I love these guests tonight. So everybody, please welcome the amazing Hannah Griff, Kevin Smith, the rhyming, and for the first time, we have Olivia Rondeau. Guys, what's up? So excited to see you. Thank you for being here. It's been kind of a wild day. There has been, there's Daytona Beach spring break crackdown. All of that going on. We've got the delays at the airport with the government shutdown and TSA agents, staffing issues. And there's a lot going on. It's a rough day for reality TV. It's like a lot coming out of reality TV today. So I do want to touch on that briefly, but essentially I know Kevin, I'm excited to hear what Kevin has to say about this, but The Bachelorette is canceled. The new season that was coming out in a few days is canceled. If you didn't hear, which you probably did because everyone was talking about it, Taylor Frankie Paul has some domestic violence stuff going on. There was a video released from an incident in 2023, and so ABC has pulled this season of The Bachelorette. Kevin, I feel like
I love it.
Strong reaction.
I love it. I love everything about this because I hate everything about that show so much. I first off, just to be clear, if you look that good, you should never be sad. And those people just sit around and cry all day long and bitch and moan. But it turns out when you host a show about a woman deciding between 20 men to pick and you find somebody who's been married 3 times before and still looks like that, you're probably going to get a lunatic. You're probably going to get a lunatic also. I don't know if I should say this. I know the person that she did her last interview with before the scandal broke. And I can't wait to break their chops when I tell her that she destroyed her career. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a good time. I'm going to enjoy it. But no, just look, on a serious note, I think that I think shows like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette are like awful, just like in its totality. Just watch really pretty people like complain all day long. It's like Instagram in real life. And
they're falling in love, Kevin.
Yeah, haven't you seen how many relationships make it?
Oh yeah, definitely.
They make it for the
They're
long,
there for marriage.
Look, I'm sorry. I
Not
don't
for
care.
fame.
I don't care who you are. Like, if you look that good, whether you're a guy or a girl, if you look good enough to be on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette, and you can't find someone to love you, that you have to go on a reality TV show, you are probably so fucked up.
Well, Kevin, she's from a reality TV show. That's like you're missing the whole backstory without watching Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I haven't watched the newest season because
what?
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Elon, take me to Mars, okay? I need off this planet.
Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please save us.
Donald Trump,
if you can hear us, please save us.
Take me and your
robot. I don't know if you know, but he also came from a reality TV show.
Elon,
I forgot. That was before my time, guys.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, but I was around for that. So
Elon needs to take me to Mars with his genius seed that he put into beautiful women that he's going to repopulate planet Mars with. His colony, his tribe of 17 kids, and his robots. Take me off this earth.
It's women love this shit, Kevin.
Women love this shit. It's like
Yes.
it's like
My cousin and I made a pact to not watch the newest season that just came out so that we can watch it together when I'm in Alaska. And we were also going to start watching The Bachelorette because it starts on my birthday. So we literally made a whole birthday plan, and then like the end of the night was going to be watching The Bachelorette, and now that's all ruined. Thanks,
like,
Taylor, for
it's like a season of Candace Owens for retards.
No, it's so entertaining. It's so entertaining. It at least for me, I love watching it because I watch it and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm so normal and mentally stable. Like that woman is, I mean, if you've seen the show, you know she's kind of a nutcase. I think the show does like make some effort to like, you know, give her a good edit and like kind of defend her because she's been arrested before. Like this whole scandal is not the first time that she has like had issues with this. So I mean, seeing that video was like, okay, there's no like, that's insane. Like throwing the chairs and stuff when your baby is sitting right there, like there's something unhinged in her brain. That's just, she needs help.
You can't look that good and be alone and not be that shit. I mean, for half of the women that go on The Bachelorette, like what I'd be willing to put up with, like what the average man would be willing to put up with to be with someone as good looking as them, for them to be alone, you've got to be whacked.
But Hannah, to your point, I watched a very little bit of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I already knew that there was like some domestic like stuff in the past. So what shocked me today was the fact that they had not already known about this. Like how did like ABC, Disney not have done a deeper dive and realized this might be
I honestly think it's because the video came out. Like, so he leaked it, or one of his friends leaked it, or one of his attorneys or something leaked it. I think the timing is awfully, you know, convenient. But like, I also think that, you know, that probably should have come out a long time ago. Like, I think once that came out, it's almost like reality TV. Me and my cousin were talking about this earlier. Reality TV, it's kind of good to have like drama, like, you know, drama like this going on, but I feel like when it crosses into domestic violence, like, okay, a DUI and nobody got hurt, whatever, that's good for reality TV. Stealing something from a store, a la Vanderpump Rules, great reality TV. Not beating the shit out of your baby daddy while your babies are there. Like, that's a level of like, you only do that type of shit if you're real fucked up in the head.
Just like, I don't know. Reality TV to me is like Deadliest Catch, where like they're actually like doing shit.
That's
like
boy reality TV.
Like, no, I watched that. Or like, I feel like TLC is like the happy medium where you could watch like 600-Pound Life and you could feel good about yourself, or you could watch like Hoarders. Like, you just watch people living like crazy lives. When it's just like women like cat fighting or like screaming, or like, I don't know, maybe I'm transgender because I don't watch girl reality TV. I watch
look,
like
there is
Last Frontier, Gold Rush. Back when
I do like those. I like those, but I also enjoy my trash TV.
You know what it is? There's nothing better than watching my 600-Pound Life with a bag of Doritos going.
Oh yeah, no, I eat snacks. I'm like, at least I'm like, I could be 500 pounds heavier right now, so it's not that bad.
I feel like
it's actually impressive how much food those people put down. It's like, oh, no wonder. It's like you wonder, like, how could someone weigh 600 pounds? And then you see how much fucking food they put down. You're like,
and they're always married. They always have somebody,
and they wait on them, like bring them food in their bed, like a fucking servant.
And then they use their stomach as a table, and they're just like, it's great.
It's so gross.
Yo, they're always it's like, it's, if you're between like 200 and 700 pounds, nobody wants you. But if you're under 200 and you're over 700, you are the peak of the realm. And they're like, they're like supportive. They're like, no, you know, we can help them as I get them 9 stuffed crust pizzas from Domino's.
Well, it's like a fetish for some people. They love to feed the big fat people. It's very bizarre.
I mean, look, whatever blows your head back, but like, I just don't like. I've never been like, ooh, I can't wait to give you this Crunch Wrap Supreme.
Well, you don't
like
have the fetish
person, but some people, well, maybe not normal, but some people are really into that.
Oh no, believe me, you'll find out by the end of the show. I'm definitely not normal.
Okay. Well,
Let's
hope
not
you're
go
not a
that
feeder.
far.
No
Oh
feeder
no,
kink.
I'm wild. Yo,
Well, to each their own for sure. But I mean, I do see like reality TV as kind of a guilty pleasure. We all have our things. I'm also a big Jersey Shore fan. So that's one of
that
mine.
was my life. Are you kidding me? Like
we got Kevin on Jersey Shore. Okay.
See, then you can't trash talk reality TV if you like Jersey Shore.
Yeah, but I lived it, so it was okay. So
get crazy, get wild.
It's t-shirt time.
The cabs are here.
I was all about it.
Classic.
I mean, I'm not proud of it. They was good times, but like, wasn't great.
I love it.
There was a lot of wax in my hair at the time, so.
I love it. Well, Olivia, we're so happy to have you for the first time. For those of you who don't know, Olivia is a reporter for Breitbart News. Has a background in wrestling, which I think is so freaking awesome and badass. TV commentator. So I'm so curious. I want to make sure, while you're here, we get to hear a little bit about your role at Breitbart. You were promoted to politics correspondent and have been attending briefings at the Pentagon, Pentagon briefings. How has that been? How recent was this promotion? What have you what's your day-to-day like? How's it been?
So I've been with them since 2023. The first year I was what they call a pre-val reporter, which, not to make it sound like clickbait, but it's really just it doesn't really mean you're covering anything in particular, just stuff that's going to go up on social media. So anything from like local crime to feel good news, that's kind of what I was doing. Then right before Trump's inauguration, I got promoted to congressional correspondent. And so I'm from the DC area, but I was living in Maryland at the time. So I had to move to Capitol Hill, which is where I live right now. And so all of last year, I was pretty much going to Congress and pretty much all of the federal agencies here, with the exception of a few, but I was covering HUD a lot. I was covering Department of Education a lot. I went to like ODNI, had to do stuff with Tulsi Gabbard, just a variety of different things. And then since the war, and I used to go to the Pentagon, and then I'm not really sure who made the final call. Maybe it was Hegseth himself, but they kind of redid the whole Pentagon press pool. So they released this document or this contract for people to sign. And if you didn't sign it, you couldn't be in the press pool anymore. And I mean, some outlets did sign it, and no shade to them, because some of, my friends work at these outlets, but personally, I didn't want to sign it. Breitbart didn't sign it, but it was basically you had to put your signature to agree to only publish facts that the press office approved of. So it was too cut down on leaks. But if you're in the Pentagon, or you just know really anything about it, it's pretty natural that leaks come out of it all the time, as they would with literally any federal agency or any facet of government. So it was kind of out of character. So we didn't sign it, but since the start of the Iran war, they've made exceptions. So it's basically the normal press pool again. So I've been going maybe twice a week, 3 times a week for the last couple of weeks. I was supposed to go today. I felt kind of under the weather, but I've been going quite often.
That's super cool. Well, thank you. It sounds like
I signed it.
What, Kevin?
You did.
I signed it. They sent it over to me. I was like, yeah, let's go. I'll cover the Pentagon. Let's do it, babe. But I just haven't gotten down to DC. So.
Okay.
But I do have my credentials somewhere.
Nice.
So forever I'll be a credentialed Pentagon reporter. I try to, split my time between covering the inherent importance of reality TV and the impending World War III. I try to find a nice, cool medium there.
You gotta be clued into everything.
I might be making a statement with my t-shirt right now. If you guys can read, it's backwards, but Yeah,
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Hey, let's stop. Let's
We're all
stop
in agreement with
sticking our
that.
nose where it doesn't fucking belong.
I was
Yeah.
kind of hopeful in the beginning. I know we talked about it like right when it first started.
Well, we had
and,
a super successful operation in Venezuela that was in and out. They kind of implied that it was going to be like that. And then at the very least, we had the 12 days last year, the 12-day war, and that was not obviously super quick in and out, but it was in and then it was out. We are definitely past 12 days at this point. In Venezuela, we didn't lose any American service members. We've already lost 13, I believe. So it's I don't know what to say without really getting upset, honestly, but we're hearing different things from people in the admin who have spoken on the record and off. And, some people are like, oh, it could last weeks more. Some people are like, it could last until September. So
it's just another big question mark again, which is
kind of just a question mark. And kind of the vibe I get is like, just sit down and just lock in for the ride, which, I'm from a family of veterans. And people have been kind of attacking me on Twitter. It's like, well, you're not grateful. This is a fight for our freedom. And I don't doubt that the Iranian regime hates America. I don't doubt that the Iranian regime, if they had the capabilities to take out the United States and expand the regime and enact Sharia law around the world, they probably do that. So I'm not running water for them. It's just, I don't like the accusations that's like, oh, you just hate Israel, or you just hate the veterans, or you don't care about the poor Iranian protesters if you don't want a boots on the ground war. I feel like that's kind of crazy to say.
Well, look, I want to be clear. I don't care about the Iranian protesters. I care about homeless people here in America. I think this war is a terrible idea. I hope that the president is right, that it's a 2-month sort of bingo bango, get in, get out. I have no idea how that could possibly happen, especially now with reports that the Russians are providing assistance to the Iranians. They seem to keep firing missiles. We keep getting 90% of them, but they keep going somehow. And I just don't know how. I think they got a little too high on themselves after Venezuela when they kidnapped the giant communist in his pajamas and thought it was going to be as easy in Iran. I also don't like that it seems like the neocons have beaten out MAGA in this administration.
And shaming MAGA and shaming. It's a bunch of people who were against Trump since 2016, against Trump in 2020. Maybe they voted for him over Kamala in 2024, but they've been never Trumpers for 10 years. And then all of a sudden, it's like the fake MAGA is like Joe Kent, Marjorie Taylor Greene, like people who made their careers on MAGA.
Well, I would put Joe Kent a little bit separately. I'm thinking more of like the Mark Levins, the Lindsey Grahams, the John Boltons, Brian Kilmeade, all the main real DeSantis crew in 24, the Ted Cruz people in 16. And I mean this truthfully. I'm mainly talking about Mark Levin. That the only way that man can get an erection is if we bomb a third world village. I use that as like a flippant joke, but it's true. There are people who have been clamoring for this war for half of a century, and they got it. And look, like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong that 2 months, we're in, we're out. Israel does a lot of the cleanup. It's their mess. Saudi comes in, UAE comes in and sort of moderates what is otherwise a radical Islamic regime. I don't know how that's possible. I just don't.
Yeah.
And look, I don't think this is the same as Iraq and Afghanistan. I think there were a lot of people in the administration back then, your Condi Rice, your Dick Cheney, your George Bush 1, that wanted this the whole time. I don't think Trump wants a protracted ground war, but it is so easy to start a war, and it is so hard to finish one. What are we going to do? We're going to leave the Ayatollah's son in power and think that he's not going to be a little pissed off that we just blew up his dad? Like, I don't know. I don't see how this ends in the perfect world without boots on the ground. And I've long said in a flippant way, but it's kind of serious, that every body that comes off that plane at Dover is one more point the president's going to lose. And we've got midterms, and I don't mean to dial American servicemen down to polls, because that's not what I'm doing. But
that's what people care about.
When do the American people say, okay, we're at what, 15 now? Okay, so there are people pissed off that there are 15 Americans dead now. How many more people will be mad at 50 or at 100 or at 200 or at 250? Are we talking 500? Now where are we at? Now we're in Afghanistan. How many will have to die before, and we all lived it. We all are Iraq, Afghanistan kids. I'm 36. I assume we're all relatively around the same age. I don't want to do this again. And it seems like the neocons, the Lindsey Grahams, the warmongers, Brian Kilmeade, and almost everybody on Fox News is just clamoring for it. And it's sick.
That's what I've noticed on Fox. I've been just having it on just here and there just to see what they're saying. And it's just boomer neocon bullshit. And it's war propaganda. Like, they're trying to get everybody jazzed up for it. And like that whole weird thing about, I can't remember who it was, but the guy who got called out to go talk to Trump in the middle of the meeting and then came back and was all shaken up. And like Scott, the first thing he said, was like, oh, my child is looking to join and I would trust like their life with that. It's like, that's such a weird thing to say. Like, it's, I was hopeful at first. And I talked about last time, Kevin, I mentioned something similar. Like, we're children of the war on terror. Like, it's what I remember growing up and support our troops and all this shit. And so when this first came out, I was hopeful. And I will say there was people who saw it before I did. And I was wrong at first. And I was hopeful that it was going to I was hopeful there was some bigger master plan that we just didn't understand yet. That was like, okay, this is going to be, in and out quick. Yeah. It's becoming apparent that that's not the case, obviously. And now lives are like being lost and the body count is racking up. And that's where I'm getting pissed off. And where, like, that was the first thing I even said about the war, was like, all I care about are the troops, like, support them, protect them, whatever. And now it's too many bodies. Too many people have died.
It's also that we live in this stupid world where if I feel a way about something, another person will say, well, you feel that way because of X. So let's take the war out of it. I have been a frequent critic of Candace Owens on this show. How many times people will say, you hate Candace because you are a shill for Israel? And I go, no, I don't like Candace because she's an asshole. It has nothing to do with Israel. There is a sort of, so you don't support the troops if you don't support the war in Iran? No. I support them not being there, because the best way to have Americans not die in Yemen is to not have them there. It turns out there are some places in the world that are shitholes, and we should not have Americans in them. The majority of the Middle East is that particular area. And look, there are beautiful parts of the Middle East, and it's not a cultural. We can get into whether it's a cultural thing or not, but I don't know what we're achieving here. And for all the people out there, nuclear weapons, really? Iran has been weeks away from getting nuclear weapons since 1991.
And that's what they're all parroting. All the neocons are getting on the news and getting on Twitter and saying, oh, well, would you rather have this or would you rather have them weeks away from weapons? And it's like, okay, but like, were they?
They set out the new talking points. We've been at a war at Iran. We've been at war with Iran for 40 years. I've never heard anybody say that before this month. I've literally never heard that in my life. Of course, we've known about the Iranian regime, and we've seen protests, and it's terrible that women have been, harassed by like the morality police. I think that's terrible. I do genuinely care. Like, I care about many things in the world. I think we should also care that 175 school children are dead. The United States is investigating. I'm not saying it's us, but they're not saying it's not us. they have not said it's not us. Multiple independent investigations, New York Times, BBC, NPR, a couple others that I'm forgetting, have reviewed satellite images from this school that, yes, is next to a base, just like we have elementary schools on Fort Bragg, and every other military base in the country has an elementary school. All right. So I don't think that's a valid argument. Don't put your schools on a military base. We have them too. But every independent investigation by major news outlets, not saying we should just trust them, but also smaller news outlets, have said that it was hit by a Tomahawk missile. Only I don't know, less than 10 countries have a Tomahawk missile. The only one involved in this conflict is the United States. Iran doesn't have Tomahawks. So if the analysis is true that it was a Tomahawk missile, which I'm not a weapons expert, so I can't look at it and say whether it is or not, but independent people can say whether it is or not, then 150 plus, mostly kids, are dead. I have an issue with that.
No, for sure. And you know what? In the world we live in now, whoever starts the action, whoever swings first in a war is going to be considered the bad guy. It's just, and it's not to say that hasn't happened in the past. It's just that now wars, it doesn't matter who starts them, who ends them, who it's between. Wars are being fought on TikTok. That's just the essence of our media now. If you had Twitter when the United States bombed Dresden, we would have looked like the bad guys. Turns out war is awful. War is disgusting. War is hell. And it's being streamed right now live on Twitter. And it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to get footage of things you don't want to see. And Iran is not some cave-dwelling Afghanistan, 8th century goat herders where they don't have Wi-Fi service. Tehran is a major metropolitan. There's videos coming out from it, and you can't hide what war is. And it doesn't matter who's doing it, whether it's Russia invading Ukraine, or it's Israel going into Gaza, or it's America bombing Iran, or if it's two cartels in Mexico fighting each other. It doesn't matter what it is. When you do that, you're going to get some really bad footage. And now you're fighting a war on a PR front. And when you're doing that, you're probably losing public opinion already. Just look at what Cronkite did with Vietnam. The minute he went over there and you saw huts on fire and you saw little kids running around covered in napalm, that was the minute America lost the war. It didn't really matter what was actually happening on the ground because we lost the PR battle. And I just, like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I hope I come back here in a month and a half and we're out, bingo bango, and we're done. And there's a female leader of Iran not wearing a hijab, but I don't know what world that's happening in.
I absolutely hope we're all wrong. I hope I'm wrong that it was a Tomahawk that hit that school. I guess I don't hope it was anybody else because it's terrible. Those kids are dead either way. But I do hope it wasn't us. I hope I look stupid, honestly, in a month. I hope I could watch this video back and be like, wow, I was so wrong. I don't anticipate that happening, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you brought this up, Olivia, and the fact that you're wearing that shirt, because I literally wanted to say how much I loved this post that you did. Oh. Yeah, basically about not being pro-war and sort of responding, right? We talk a lot about the trolls and the negativity that comes with social media, and it is difficult. And I feel like I really loved that you did this and really focused on how your priorities are getting true and accurate news and using your new access to wanting to focus on asking the right questions. And so I just wanted to say that.
Well, thank you. Because I didn't really repost or respond to any of the comments I was getting because I didn't want to give any particular person that satisfaction or attention. But I was getting comments on my posts in the Pentagon briefing room, and I've been posting every morning, just all right, back in the Pentagon briefing room, tune in, for the coverage. Have not shared my opinion along with those posts. It's just, just in the briefing room. And I've gotten weird comments that say, oh, you support this? I can't believe you support this. And it's I guess I don't know what you guys think the press pool is, but in that room, sure, there are people who are activist journalists, and there are people in that room I would consider activist journalists, and sometimes I am an activist journalist. However, I'm not there to like start screaming and throwing my shoes, like I'm throwing them at George Bush. Like, that's not what I'm there for. And of course I will tweet and retweet whatever post I want. But me posting that I'm in the briefing room and saying, here's my link to following the coverage, that's not an endorsement of anything. So that's why I posted that, just as like a general statement, because I was catching some flack, and I kind of understand it on some level, but on another level, it's like, I'm a reporter. I made that very clear. I've been a reporter for years now, several
literally
years.
your job. Like,
so yeah. And I enjoy having that access, even though I didn't sign the contract. I am thankful that they made an exception for these last couple weeks. I'm not going to sign that. And yeah, I mean, that just is what it is. I'm against the war, but I'm a reporter.
Yeah, I mean, I really respect and admire that, and the fact that like, you're trying to get the facts, you're trying to get the information. It's not about like putting a slant on it or an opinion. It's like, I'm here and I'm just trying to gather information.
Yeah, for this, I mean, my articles, they're usually pretty straight. Obviously, I write for Breitbart, and we're not secret about our bias at all. And I'm allowed to take like creative liberty and things of that nature. But for situations like this, anything that I'm reporting on this is going to be like numbers, straight facts. It's too sensitive of a topic to publish something. I get thousands of comments on my articles on Breitbart, as in people who have accounts at Breitbart comment. So that's how wide they go. I think a lot of people just see links on Twitter and Facebook, and they're like, oh, no, like millions of people are reading like on the website. So it just goes way too far for me to like try to be holier than thou and like writing op-eds and stuff about it. Like, that's what my Twitter is for. The reporting is for reporting.
Which, yeah, like obviously you're allowed, you have an opinion, and you're allowed to have an opinion, and it's just, it's tough. It's tough out there. So it's tough work, and I appreciate what you do. And I just appreciate that focus on wanting to ask questions and get as much information and present it that way. And then people can kind of make their own conclusions, but at least, you're just, trying to be objective and like get the information because you do have that sort of access that, right, everybody doesn't.
I will say it's been nothing short of like amazing. I don't even necessarily mean that in like a positive way, but like amazing and awesome in the literal sense of the word. Like, it amazes me and it puts me in awe, the amount of access I've gotten under this administration. I have to give the Trump administration a lot of credit here. We have White House access, we have Pentagon access, we have access to every federal agency that's here in DC and in the DMV area. I was able to travel. This made the news. This was crazy. Like I believe the LA Times wrote about it. Like my name was in the LA Times, but certain outlets were salty because I was invited on a trip to LA with the secretary in January. And so we all flew. It was like me and like 5 other reporters. We flew on the Doomsday plane, which is like, if you see it in real life, that's really the only way it does it justice. But on the inside, I'm just saying it doesn't look like a plane. Okay, it's like 3 stories, and there's like offices and bedrooms and like the whole thing. And I was in the press pool for that. And we got an inside tour of like weapons manufacturers, and like we did like PT with like the ROTC at UCLA and stuff. So I don't know, just stuff like that is really amazing to me that I like got here. And so like, let me not like squander this by throwing my shoes at somebody in protest. Like I would, like I'm here to be serious. So yeah, that's not an endorsement of anything or everything. If I endorse something, then I'll post it,
Yeah. And there should be people in the room reporting who don't necessarily agree. There's plenty of people in the room who are, lick and boot and like all for war. So I mean,
I will say, yeah, there's plenty of people kind of on all sides of the issue. There's a couple of my favorite reporters in the briefing room, and like plenty of them are like friendly. When I say friendly, I mean like conservative, like smaller outlets, like smaller than Fox News. So like the Daily Caller, I used to work there. I love that they're in the briefing room with us. And sometimes they ask questions that maybe I wouldn't ask, but like I'm grateful that they're there and asking those questions. There's a guy who he went viral because when he was in the Oval Office, or he was at the White House for some event, and he's a reporter, and he's Kurdish, so he's from Iran, but I don't know like what area that's like considered Kurdistan. I don't know. But Trump called him, okay, Mr. Kurd, and like that name just stuck. So now he's at like all the briefings. Like there's this guy named Mr. Kurd who's like a reporter.
Oh my God.
So we have small people, we have big hot shots, you know. I just love it. I love being part of the press. I feel like, you know, you feel like you're doing something without, you know, compromising your morals too much. Like if I was like in office or something crazy like that.
Absolutely. So another related to this, another headline that kind of came out today was that reports were sort of saying that Trump is saying that it will end soon, right? Operation Epic Fury is going to end soon. It's almost over. But then there's the whole Pentagon floating the request for $200 billion to fund the war. Any thoughts on that? What that kind of means? Like, is that funding justified? I mean, obviously, we're all kind of saying we want it to end and be, but like, it's, I don't know, based on him being like, it's over, but then they're requesting all this money to keep fighting.
Yeah, Secretary Hegseth has asked for enormous amounts of money prior to the war starting. And I asked him about this in January, and this was off the record, so not really going to delve too much into that, but this was when we were like privately speaking on our trip to LA. And so that's one thing I have been pressing the department on and asking about, and I don't think it's out of character. So it's not like the war happened and he's suddenly asking for like he's asked for billions and billions and billions prior.
Gotcha.
Did he know it was going to be for Iran? Who's to say? But also, secondly, Trump has been saying that it's going to be over very shortly since the beginning, and it's been a few weeks now. So he's trying to assure us, and I don't think he wants a long, drawn-out war. I don't know if you guys saw, I haven't watched the full interview yet, but Joe Kent on the Tucker Carlson network. So after he resigned from his position as in counterterrorism, like under Tulsi Gabbard at ODNI, he kind of immediately went on the Tucker Carlson show and said that one of his last interactions with Charlie Kirk, coming out of the Oval Office or one of the wings in the White House last year, was them brushing by, and Joe Kent says, "Oh, hey," and Charlie Kirk says, "Do not let us go to war with Iran." That's what Joe Kent said yesterday, or maybe the day before, on the Tucker Carlson show. So I think what Kevin said before was right, that there is like a group of never Trumpers who are now kind of in the inner circle because they've been wanting to go to war for a long time. And so they're just going to like rah, 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 rah. And then there's the people who were MAGA from the beginning, like Charlie, like Joe Kent, like Marjorie Taylor Greene, like Thomas Madison. Well, Thomas Madison was never like MAGA, but I would say he's America first. Let me use that terminology, America first. So there's all these people who are America first from the start, who feel disenfranchised, disenchanted by being pushed out, you know, for voices like Mark Levin. I think it was Megyn Kelly who called him micro penis Mark, but I agree with that. You can't have big dick energy and be like whining and crying on Twitter, calling people Nazis. Like Mark Levin's been he's been off the rails for several months now, probably at least 2 years. Because I remember after October 7th, 2023 happened, and he literally was like calling to like glass the Gaza Strip. And he came up with this op-ed that there's no such thing as innocent Palestinian. And you might be reading that headline and think like, oh, he just means like Hamas, or he just means like the adults. No, in the article, he said babies. He said there's no innocent babies. So micro penis Mark is honestly nice. That's honestly a nice term for Mark Levin.
Yeah, well, you know what it is that there's some, look, I live in the real world where I understand that if we're going to be one of the last two remaining superpowers, we have to do things. However, there are some people out there who have never said no to a military incursion. I said their names before, you know, whether it's Lindsey Graham or that guy with the giant neck from Arkansas. What the hell's his name? The senator. Mark Levin is one of them. You know, there's a difference between accepting that military actions must be taken and looking forward to them when they are. I said it. I mean, everything I say is a joke in the context of I have to make a joke about everything. But I'm like, the only time Lindsey Graham can get hard is when he's bombing a third world country. That's like the only thing that excites him. And it obviously that's a joke because we all know that he only gets aroused around men. But it's real. There are some people that beg for it on some level. There's a big difference. Like when they scooped up Maduro, I was like, all right, okay, we'll see what happens. But to rah it, to get excited about it, to want it actively is very different.
Lots of money to be in war.
Well, that's it. If you look at guys like Kennedy with the Cuban Missile Crisis, like they did everything they possibly could to avoid war. That war should be the very last thing you do.
There's too much money to be made.
Exactly. And you know what it is that it just leaves us in this perpetual state of conflict. We spent 2 years bitching about Ukraine, that I didn't want to be involved and I didn't want my money going over there. And I don't really care whether or not the Donbass region is controlled by one side that speaks the same language as the other side. And then once we move past that, it's like, all right, well, now on to Iran. And now that we may be wrapping up Iran, we're like, hey, what's Cuba up to? And it's like, bro, breathe, relax. Like, we don't have to take everywhere. And here's the thing. If we lived in the age of empire, where when you took a place, you got all their resources and they became quasi colonies, maybe I wouldn't mind so much. Like if we went into Iran and took all their oil and it's like, okay, this is America now. Maybe I wouldn't care so much. If we went into Cuba and took all their sugar cane, maybe I wouldn't care so much. But to my mind, it just seems like we're playing a game of Risk in real life. And
like, at least, like, what's the point? At least in that situation, you can be like, okay, well, this is what we got out of it. But this is like, we don't even get anything out of it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Like, look, is the world a safer place if Iran is defanged? Yes, for sure. But am I worried about Iran, bombing Manhattan? No, I'm not. I'm not. Like, please, Iranians, invade Long Island. Like, you won't make it halfway through before me and my boys show up. Like, I mean, I'm not concerned about that. Am I worried about the Russians, like, invading the port of Long Beach? Like, no, I'm not. I'm not worried about that at all. So then, unless there's a robber at my door, I'm not going to go vigilante style looking for bad guys in the neighborhood, because that's a real good way to get yourself in trouble. And I feel like that's what we're doing on a global stage.
I think we got a little bit too confident after Venezuela, because that was an in and out. And then we got our oil, or we're still in the process of getting our oil. And I say our just because American companies had invested millions and millions and millions into the infrastructure and into getting oil from there. And then we were shut out. So yeah, to your point, if we were getting resources like we are with Venezuela and the people, I mean, obviously he was also a dictator. We didn't have to kill 175 school children to do it. Like, cool. That's not my favorite thing ever, but I can live with that. Like, I don't feel the need to protest over that. This, I want to know who shot the tomahawk, or let's say I want to know if it was a tomahawk. I want to know if it was us.
Yeah, for sure. And it doesn't make you when I talked about the dichotomy before, like, I support the president. I support the MAGA movement. I voted for Trump 3 times. I helped get him elected 3 times. That doesn't mean I have to agree with him on everything. And there's a weird thing that the left does where if we agree with him on everything, we're a cult. And if we don't, MAGA is falling apart. And it's like, no, I like the tariffs. I like the protectionism. I like the deportations. I wish we had more of them. I like the fact that President Trump swings first. However, did we just start something we can't finish? There's a great book that came out I think it was in the early 70s. It's called The Guns of August. And it won a Pulitzer Prize back when that meant something. And for every person who supports this war, I would urge you to read that book because it talks about how in World War I, everyone was so gung ho to go to war, but nobody had the balls and the courage to go, okay, we're not making any progress. We're not getting anywhere. Let's get out of here. And because of that, it was the deadliest war in human history up until that point. And I worry what comes next. Because if China and Russia get involved, where does this end? We've already seen NATO be toothless completely. I mean, the French are getting involved. Oh, yay. Thank God. The UK said they're not getting involved. Spain said we're allowed to use their bases. But let's be honest, when it comes to real fighting force, it's just America and Israel, which, my last dollar, I'm putting America and Israel against every other country in the world. But am I ready to bet my last dollar? Not really. Particularly when there's an election in, what do we got? 6 months, where we are going to get fucking smoked.
And honestly, we'll deserve it.
We will.
We deserve to get smoked.
I'm still pissed that Charlie died over 6 months ago, and Trump had a very limited but very huge opportunity to just stomp out all of that bullshit and all of the leftist just garbage, and he essentially didn't do anything. There was nothing done, and it's just like, okay, well, the window's passed now. Like, people, are starting to move on with their lives. It's not so fresh, and people aren't so angry. But that was my first red flag, where I was like, why is he not doing more? Portland, hello?
On the Tucker Carlson show yesterday, Joe Kent said that he was told they were to stop investigating the Charlie Kirk assassination.
By who?
I can't even. I got to tell you.
I think he said they were told that it's going to go back to local authorities in Utah or whatever. I'm not quoting him, but I think that was the FBI's kind of internal justification. Let's kind of step back from this. But Joe Kent said he was directly told that we're not going to investigate this anymore. And he's counterterrorism, which that's not directly in his purview. But if you think that it's an anti-conservative terrorist, or that he wasn't working alone, it was
a political assassination.
That would essentially, that would absolutely be under his purview. And he didn't say what questions were left unanswered, because he said that he could not say that, but he said that there were leads that he wanted to follow that he could not follow.
I got to tell you, when I hear stuff like that, a guy like Joe Kent, who's been on board for so long, I have to, on some level, I have to turn it off, because then what are we doing? If you know what I mean? What's the point of it all? What are we doing here? What am I doing on my show? What are you doing covering the Pentagon? What are we doing on? So if it runs that deep, then it's time for something I probably shouldn't say on social media, right? If that's what we all believe, and I don't think it is. And I think that's why we all keep doing what we're doing, because we believe that we have some sort of an opportunity to change things. On
some level, I'm not fully black-pilled, but on some level, I think I thought this way going back to Trump's assassination attempt in Butler. The FBI came out after that and said that Thomas Matthew Crooks did not have a social media presence. That was a lie. That was a complete lie. He had a YouTube channel. He had been radicalized for years. He was formerly pro-Trump, but even when he was pro-Trump, he was still commenting on videos talking about killing people. He was talking about killing immigrants.
The NSA has all that shit. That they have a file on him. I guarantee it.
The FBI lied. The FBI lied. Fast forward to in the months leading up to him shooting Trump in the ear, he was anti-Trump, but still talking about killing people. So he had been radicalized for a couple of years. He was a young kid, so he doesn't have a lot of presence online, but he had YouTube comments. And then after this was put out, then FBI Director Patel put out a statement acknowledging that he did have these comments. So whatever they tell us, we're not going to find out the truth until somebody actually digs in, because then they'll go back and make a statement. But they lied to us. And so there's something deeper there that does kind of, call me whatever, but that does kind of blackmail me a little bit, because it's like, oh, they actually don't care about making that information public. Who shot the president? Who killed Corey Comporator, who is his crime was going to a Trump rally? Like somebody died. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Somebody died and 2 other people got seriously injured, and like nobody really cares anymore.
It's that I've ranted about this on Twitter before, along with what you said, Livy. Like, they're just lying about it. They obviously have information. We know the Patriot Act. We know because of what Edward Snowden has said, that the government has all of our text messages, has the ability, they can listen to our phone calls. They track our social media. The NSA has a file for all of us. And the fact that they're doing that, and that's the whole justification for the Patriot Act, is to protect us from terrorism. You guys have access to all this information, and you're choosing actively not to do anything with it and not to release it to the public, not to make it known, when we know that you have it. So it's like, what's the whole fucking point of you guys mass surveilling us and big brothering us if you're not even stopping the people who are trying to kill the president? Like, hello?
Another thing that came out was that Thomas Matthew Crooks flew a drone over the venue the day before.
I've heard that too, yeah.
Yeah, the FBI also didn't put that out. That was discovered by journalists.
And look, I've been to 50 Trump rallies. I'm a smoker. You cannot bring a lighter into a Trump rally. And you expect me to believe that Thomas Crooks brought in a fucking scope from a rifle? Like, you can't, like, literally, you can't. We all joke. Everyone I know that smokes, we laugh when we're like, yo, I got one in. Because you can't bring a vape. You can't bring a lighter.
Well, the FBI said that they didn't sweep the rooftop that he was on because it was too slanted or whatever the fuck. And that was their excuse for why they didn't.
Meanwhile, this Corey Mill's standing on it, completely flat-footed. Like, yeah, there was like a 4-degree incline.
So, and people on the ground they could see him. People on the ground were pointing and saying, "There he is." So if you're visible to just people on the ground, then that should have been swept, obviously. But
I mean, there's only 2 high points there. There was the rooftop, and there was the water tower. So, I mean, look, I am not special forces, or I have no law enforcement training, but like, you would think, you'd go, okay, maybe we should have someone over there. Like, if there was a house, there would have been somebody on the roof. If there was a barn,
if you've ever shot a gun, it's like common sense. Like, I don't know. The FBI is inept.
So we'll never really know what happened with that. We'll never really know what happened with Charlie. For God knows why, but that's kind of
nothing's happening with the Epstein files. Nobody's arrested.
At least the UK and in other countries have started arresting their people that are in it. We have
the FBI. Just get rid of it. Get rid of the fucking FBI at this point.
Yeah, it's completely pointless.
We need to come up with another whatever, like, acronym, whatever it is for FBI. Like, everyone comes up with their own best, what the FBI really is.
Fucking bullshit institution.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, perfect.
There you go. See, it's like, have you thought about it before? It seems like you have. I don't know.
I'll be honest, as I said it, I had to double check that.
Not female body inspectors or whatever the shirts said. The T-shirts say at the Jersey Shore. The Jersey Shore T-shirt.
I filled out my application for that FBI. I'm waiting for it.
Different FBI. But Olivia, while we have you here, I wanted to ask, because you're in DC, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your experience since the National Guard has been deployed there. What does it actually feel like? What is the presence like there?
It's crazy, because when they first announced they're going to come, I literally was thinking, like, this is terrible. Like, it's going to feel like a police state. It's going to feel eerie and like I can't do anything, and it's going to feel creepy. I honestly would say it's the opposite. Maybe it's just because we have really good kids in the National Guard. They're all kids. They're all like 20 years old. They're all really nice and good mannered. They helped shovel people's cars. We had Snowmageddon here back in January. We had like a record amount of snow. So I would say, just to speaking to the people that got sent here, and they're from neighboring states. They're not from like anywhere. They're like kids from Virginia, kids from Pennsylvania, kids from like Delaware, North Carolina, whatever. They're very good natured in general. They seem like they don't really necessarily want to be here, but they're kind of like happy to help you if you. I've seen them help random people. Besides that, crime has gone down in a way that DC has never seen crime go down. And you know, I'll preface by saying I'm not for a police state. I'm not for over policing. I think that's terrible. However, National Guard has had like no scandals with like police brutality or like hurting anybody or beating anybody, or they've had no scandals. Really what they've done is deterrence. You know, they stand, and also it's kind of a misconception. They're not like patrolling the streets necessarily. Like I've really seen them in my neighborhood, like only a couple times when they're like walking somewhere. They might be on the corner in like really, really busy areas. I'm on Capitol Hill, which is like, it's for people not from here, it's quite residential. Like other than the Capitol being there, it's quite residential. They're really mostly in the metro stations. And as a woman, I've had really unsavory experiences in the metro and on the metros, or in the metro, on the train and on the metro platforms and in the station. So they act as a good deterrence. It's funny that you asked that because today, the wrestling place that I coach at, it's like right next to a metro stop, and occasionally we'll see like National Guard like walk by and they'll just like look in because the door is always open. We have like a storefront that's like glass. And then today I'm like coaching the kids and we're making them like do live matches. And then I turn around and like 3 National Guardsmen have been like standing there like watching me for like I don't even know how long. I was like, oh hey, and like one of them was like, I used to wrestle when I was on varsity in North Carolina, and that's exactly how we talked. I was like, cool, and they just stood there, watched for a few minutes, and left. I think this is not an opinion that I thought I would have. I really thought I was gonna be like, oh my god, get out of my city, get out of Chocolate City, but like, you know, they're really nice guys, and they have act as a deterrence to crime. So I'm not saying I want them to be here forever, but I really don't have much negative to say on them.
I'm really glad. I thought it's really such an opportunity to hear your perspective because you're there, right? We see so much in the media, we see the narrative, we see so I really wanted to hear, I want people to hear
also,
your actual
I will add, Sarah Beckstrom, she was a young lady. I believe she was 21 years old. She was shot and killed by the White House, a guardsman. And then I believe Andrew Wolf, I want to say his last name is definitely Wolf. He was shot and seriously injured by a guy from Afghanistan. And they were targeted just because they were here, you know, standing around. They weren't directly outside the White House. They're about 2 blocks away, but the media reported it as like right outside the White House. But they were just there in their uniform, and they were both shot at like very close range. So they were here to protect us, and they were both really young, and they got shot, and Sarah died. And that's another thing that I think is going to maybe lose some points for support in the war, is that out of like the 15 or so that have died already, like 3 of them have been women. And I think people have a natural aversion to seeing that. Obviously we have an aversion to seeing any American get killed, but I think like once you see like American daughters, mothers, and wives, their bodies like strewn out on a battlefield, I think that's demoralizing. So I think that's another thing that's going to add to negative opinions of this war. And I just brought that up because I think about Sarah all the time, and she was just a young lady. She was barely younger than me, you know, starting out her life, and I feel terrible.
What else is, if anything, is the media getting wrong about this? Like for people who are just watching it, the situation on the news, what is different from that than your real life experience there?
With the National Guard?
Yeah.
I think it's funny because people are acting like
versus overreach kind of thing, right? Like,
well, people are acting like these guys are like Trump's foot soldiers, but I mean, they sent for the military to follow the commander in chief. I mean, they're not all like evil Trump supporters. Yeah. A good portion of them are Black guys. A lot of minorities are in the military, so it's not like we just got like white nationalists running around DC. It's quite a diverse group. There's plenty of women here, as I just said. And also, I mean, I literally personally witnessed them like shoveling people's cars because there's not really a lot to do. They're not like tackling people and like making a ton of arrests. They're really just kind of serve as a crime deterrence. And I know like I said, I'm from Maryland, like just outside DC, and like most of my friends are libbed out. Okay, they're like the bold lib, and which is completely fine. I'm friends with mostly liberals, but when they come down and visit me,
wait, you mean like they've come around the mountain, but they won't say it out loud yet?
Well, when they come visit me, it's like people who live in Maryland who are like so unsettled. They're like, "Oh my God, Olivia, this is crazy! Like, this is so crazy. I feel like I have one of my Latina friends. She was like, I feel like they're gonna deport me. I was like, girl, they're not here to arrest anybody. They're just standing there, like, yeah. It's just like a lot of people who are not from DC or don't live here. They have a very dramatic view of it. And when they come here and see it, they're like, "Oh my God, this is like," they think they're like stormtroopers, and it's like a 19-year-old kid in camo. It's like just hey, yeah. Like, you know.
Okay, so we only have a couple minutes left. I know some of you have a hard out tonight, so while these last couple minutes, this is gonna be tough. But Olivia, I heard someone told me that you did a deep dive on Ilhan, and Kevin's gonna like this, Ilhan Omar.
Yeah.
Is she frozen for me only?
Sum up the juice, the tea.
Like, we lost her.
Wait, Hannah, am I frozen?
No.
You're not frozen. Am I?
No.
Okay. I think Angela is.
Oh, I'm frozen?
You want to know what I think it is? I think it's Mossad.
You guys were both frozen for a minute.
Where's Madeline when you need her?
Am I back?
I think everybody's here.
Okay. Oh no. Okay, well.
I think we're all here.
Okay.
I think Hannah has bad Wi-Fi because I see everybody fine.
Okay, cool. Okay, well, I'm just gonna throw it to you, Olivia, and give us, I don't know, whatever juice, dirt, tea you can in like 2 minutes. I know that might be
okay. I'll preface by saying go to my bio at Breitbart.com, Olivia Rondo, because I wrote it like this week, so you'll see it pretty recently and you can read the whole thing. And a lot of the sources originally are from like 2016 articles from this website called Alpha News. It's like a conservative news outlet, but I verified and double checked like everything in there, and it wasn't just some rag. Okay, so here's the stitch. Here's what Trump keeps saying, and people keep saying, "Oh, he's racist," forever suggesting it. Obviously, the rumor is that Ilhan Omar married her brother to commit immigration fraud to get him into the United States. Here's the truth. I can allegedly basically confirm that. And I'm not saying they were in a romantic relationship or committed anything incestuous. She was legally married to this guy. Last name is Elmi, like Elmo with an I on the end. Mm-hmm. There is proof that they share parents. There is proof that they have the same siblings. And she was legally married to him, and he's a British citizen. They all, I think 2 or 3 of her siblings, when they left Somalia, became UK citizens, and 2 of them became American citizens. She allegedly married him so he could come to the United States. Anyways, she legally married him. But the whole time they were legally married, she was in a religious, Islamic marriage with her second husband, quote unquote, the person that she has children with. Okay, so she has children with one man. At some point in 2017, she gets she legally dissolves her marriage to this guy, Mr. Elmi, saying that I'm dissolving it because we're estranged. I have no way to contact him. She swore this under oath. She signed this on legal documents. We have no mutual friends. I don't know his family members. I don't know how to contact him. I have no idea where he is. And so she is granted, and it's kind of hard to get one of these because you do have to swear that you don't know where this person is and you have no idea how to get in contact with them. And so, yes, her marriage was legally, dissolved. I believe they were married in Hennepin County in Minnesota, which is where Minneapolis is. So the marriage was legally dissolved. And then fast forward now, she's with her like white husband or whatever. But to go back to those people, Alpha News many years ago, this went like unreported, but I verified this by looking at the code on this website. Ilhan Omar's sister, who this is also my article, but she funneled money when she was in the Minnesota House of Representatives to her sister's health clinic in Minneapolis. But like, that's a whole other thing, but you can definitely check that out. Ilhan Omar's sister had a website made for her business back in Somalia. And in the source code for that website is Elmi. Elmi made the website, or he helped make the website. So you would have to assume that they're all siblings or all know each other. There's no way that Ilhan Omar was honest when she signed that document saying, I have no idea of anyone who even knows this guy. And further correspondence from Elmi, because he responded to some of these allegations in emails published in 2016 by Alpha News. He said, I don't even know who that is. I don't know who that lady is. And then they responded with pictures of him and Ilhan. And he was like, oh, yeah, I was just at an event. And then accused them of racism for thinking like that all Somalis look alike or whatever. So it's pretty much indisputable, other than the fact that I can't legally say it, probably without being sued. But if you guys read my article, and then most of the credit will go to Alpha News. It's just quite an old article that didn't get that much attention, but I kind of like unearthed it. And I did verify that Elmi's name was all over the source code in her sister's website. So do with that what you will, but allegedly, super allegedly, she married her brother to get him into the United States and then legally divorced him in an illegal way.
Damn.
So
damn is right.
So who is the captain now?
Me.
You are the captain.
I am the captain now. Yeah, it's a whole mess. It's a whole mess, guys. It's a whole mess. The sister and the brother, there's like two other siblings, but the sister and brother in question have since moved back to Africa, and that's where they do their work now. But yeah.
I mean, this is also coming from you. And we heard earlier how, you know, you're really trying to present the facts and get the information and do the research and not just
I wouldn't lie about this because I don't want to get sued. So I wouldn't lie.
Fair. I mean, I have so many questions for you. Olivia, we'll have to have you back, hopefully, if you can. Tell everyone one more time where they can read this article and do their deeper dive read your deeper dive that you did, and where they can find you, any shout outs, promos, go for it.
So my Twitter or X is Rhonda Olivia, RONDEAULIVIA. And then in my bio, there's a link to my Breitbart articles. If you scroll just a little bit, I wrote it maybe 5 articles ago. You will see the Ilhan Omar deep dive. And I'm probably going to have to do a follow-up because I was sent some more information just this day. So, which I'm doing this right now. But yeah, so yeah, guys, it's getting weird to say the least. It's getting
We'll have
weird.
to schedule another a part 2 when I get back from Alaska.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
That would be great.
I'm working on a couple investigative series right now, which is great, and Breitbart loves it. So having a good time. But yeah, check me out on Twitter, and then that links to all of my stuff.
Awesome. Yes. Thank you so much. That's amazing. We will. Yeah. Hannah, when you're back, we should definitely do a part 2 because I had so many questions to ask about her anyways, and we can do a whole nother revisit of this.
Yay. This flew by. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
it really does. It really does. Please. Yes. So also follow Hannah at Yeah Right Girl HG, Kevin Smith. Hannah, we're going to miss you next week. It's next week. Have an amazing
next week I will be
time.
Thank you. I will be back the following week though, so not to fear.
Fantastic. Hannah's usually here on our Thursday streams at 9 p.m. Eastern. Kevin Smith, what's up? You want to shout out Loud Majority?
Absolutely. You guys can check me out.
Eastern.
Check me out every day, rumble.com/LFATV. I'm on at 3 p.m. Eastern or across all of my platforms. You guys can got my little Twitter handle.
The little thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you. I know you got to get going. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. You rock. You're awesome. Olivia, thank you so much for all the info. Oh my
Thank
God.
you, Bold Lib. I
Love you, Livy.
Love you guys. Thanks so much. Good night. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It flies by when you're with good people and you're having fun, and you got a lot of deets tonight, a lot of tea, a lot of all the stuff. So, yeah, so much fun. Always, always, always. It was a great night, great guests. So appreciative of all of you, guests, audience. Thank you so much for spending your Thursday night, couple hours with us. We will be back. Bold Voices next will be on Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. We'll have more guests, more great topics. We do kind of a mix of, we had a really fun stream on Monday, if you missed it, with Adam Coleman, some people who are really knowledgeable in the trucking industry. So you should check that out, recap it if you missed it, because it was really, really cool. Great guests with, yeah, like I said, a lot of knowledge and expertise in the trucking industry and all these safety issues and concerns about what's going on here. So check that out if you missed it. You can subscribe on YouTube, all that jazz. Appreciate you guys, but we are here for Bold Voices live streams every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern and every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. And always appreciate you guys being here and interacting. Love to hear your thoughts, questions, feedback, all that jazz. So thank you for interacting. Thank you for your support. I'll check out Trangela. I'll check out Alicia for sure. And thank you so much, Joshua. You guys rock. Appreciate you. I might have said that like 500 times, but I really do. I just want to make sure you know. And I think that's it. So check out the live streams. There should be some more podcast interview episodes coming up soon too. And other than that, have a great rest of your week. Great rest of your, I can't believe it's Thursday already. My goodness. It's like the weekend. Ooh, yeah, that's fun. Oh, I forgot to tell Hannah and Olivia know Chrissy Mayer, who's I've been on her podcast. She's been on mine, all that jazz. I'm actually going to see her tomorrow. So that's exciting. So I'm excited about that. I totally forgot to tell them because they're friends with Chrissy too. That's how we actually all met, was on Chrissy's podcast. So that'll be fun. So I will film. Yeah, I'll take some pictures or film some things, and that'll be fun this weekend. So I hope you guys have a great one. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for everything, all the support, all the love. I see you. I appreciate you. All the love, and stay bold.